Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I am the Media Marshal, where I take a look at past media and see how it affects the future. When it comes to anything, people have a lot of opinions about their favorite topics, about their favorite movies, video games, and TV shows. And they, when other people voice their own opinions about it, they tend not to like it. Now, don't get me wrong. Initially, this video was gonna be a deep dive look into a TV channel that had existed, and is coming back, but I just couldn't make the script work. So, and as I kept working on it, a video popped up through my subscriber page, meaning who I'm subscribed to, from Girlfriend Reviews. And in it, they talk about something that I feel like I need to address as well. Now, this isn't me defending anybody. This isn't me saying quit backlashing on anybody. This is me offering an insight into how I view things and how other people might not view them the way I do. Now, keep in mind, I'm also, like I said, not defending anybody, but it got me to think about a lot of things. Now, in the video in question, they had done a review on The Last of Us Part 2, and they said they enjoyed it, but fans that quickly hated The Last of Us series made it quite clear, and even some of them tried to get these two very nice, very funny couple in a lot of hot water. Now, for me, and how I view The Last of Us, it's about as fun as going on a class field trip to a museum, but hey, you quickly find out that you just want to go to the gift shop, even though your teachers are saying that it's all fun and dandy. That is great. Hmm, Anybody can look at fossils any day of the week, or the Mona Lisa, or whatever, but that also ties into it. I'm not a fan of the Last of Us series. And I might also interject that I'm also not a fan of another popular game series that a lot of kids like nowadays, Fortnite. And yeah, it's not a game series, but isn't it? The way they're running seasons of this game tends to tell me that this is just a serialized game that they could spend lots of money, lots of hours making multiple games for, but instead they're tying into one central game. I don't like it. I honestly can see why others might, as it connects to community. But when it comes to community interaction amongst other people, I don't like it. Honestly, there are better options. In Warzone, you may have your fans. I'm not a fan. However, when it comes to console games of the online genre, I like Rainbow Six Siege. It's a game that I can pick up, even I can get into. Fortnite, however, I missed the ball on. And it must be like a lot of adults in the 90s felt when another popular game came out, Pokemon. Not everyone likes Pokemon. Surprise, surprise. Pikachu's not garnering widespread acclaim. In fact, with the latest Pokemon games the way they are, not a lot of people are flocking back to them. So, why make this video instead of a video about G4? Well, it all stems back to one simple factor: opinions. If you have an opinion about a title that you like yourself, feel free to share. Feel free to comment. Feel free to talk about it. Hell, that's what these games are supposed to do. That's what movies and TV shows are supposed to do as well. They're supposed to connect with people to get people to talking about them so more people might get interested in them or might not. For instance, another thing that I like that I don't necessarily have heard a lot of people talking about is Archer. Now, in recent years, it has garnered a lot of fans, but whenever I talk about it amongst my friends, they don't really care for it. They don't like it, or they don't know about it. And then when they watch it, they're like, they have formulated their own opinions on it. And to me, it is the most smartly written comedy ever in the workplace. Yeah, it was really weird me putting out there in a sentence like that, and trust me, yeah, everybody can come up with their own sentence, and probably in the next week I'll become a meme. And even then, it gets people talking. It's the point of all this. But the point being, you gotta have your fans. You gotta have your love for the genre, your care for it, your anything. Like I said before, continuing on from Archer. With Archer, I like it compared to The Office, which often gets compared to it. To me, The Office is sorry, not sorry. To me, it's not funny, and a lot of people say it gets better after the first few seasons. Here's the thing: I'm not gonna skip. I want if a show is out, I want to watch it. I want to see why it continued on and why the season is the greatest. The following seasons were the greatest. Not skip to those seasons and then go, who is that character? Who is that character? Why are these characters doing the things that they are doing? What is their motivation? And yeah, that might be me nitpicking a half-hour comedy show that ran for a lot of years, even has its fans going, the later seasons suck, the earlier seasons suck, but it's still a good show. To me, it's not that good. And take it from somebody that's watched every damn show, every damn movie within the past year and a half that we have been trapped inside our bot prison, as I would call it. Now, that doesn't mean I'm going to go say to other people that are liking The Office or hate Archer, why don't you give it a chance? It's actually fucking good. Maybe you're just not being smart about it and you're just being stupid and then sending death threats to them through their emails or phone numbers or Facebooks or Instagrams or OnlyFans or Twitter or fucking cameos. I'm not going to do that because I understand I cannot sway what somebody else has already formulated in their own mind. What I can say is that, okay, it's not for everybody. The Last of Us isn't for me. It's for people who like going to an art museum to see the Mona Lisa, to see Godzilla on full display, or to see anything. To me, I'd rather play games like BioShock, which have its fans and have people who in recent years have said, is this game really that good? With even my favorite game of all time getting the most criticism for not being all that it was when it came out. I can see that wholeheartedly. The gunplay does get a little repetitive at times, and it does tend to slow down the pace of the story, which is one of the best stories I've ever played through. One of the most compelling, and this game came out a few years after The Last of Us came out. That means to me that that The Last of Us is an impression that it left on the industry to a point where it's made developers and creators of the genres think maybe this is the right way to do this. Maybe we need to come up with more compelling stories. My least favorite game of all time, though, does have to go to Bioshock 2. I hate it. Honestly, when I was younger and had a lot of time. I beat the story in about 8 to 6 hours, or 6 to 8 hours, and it got heavily repetitive. Does it have one of the greatest endings in games? Yeah, but do I see why people are fans of it? Yeah, it's a mindless shooter. If you want to have fun with it, go for it. I'm not saying you shouldn't. What I'm saying is, I don't like it. Oh, I'd rather go back to the first one, which has garnered much criticism in the 14 years since it came out. Understandably so. The last half of the story sucks. Let's face it, let's call a spade a spade. It sucks. When they do a complete 180 on the villain and say that the person who is helping you out the whole time is your villain. No, he's not your villain. In fact, he's just someone that you guys threw in as a last ditch effort to make a story continuously stick. But hey, to each their own. And with movies, one of the least favorite movies that I have said about to other people that have gotten weird ass looks is R.I.P.D. Now, for those of you who don't know, R.I.P.D. stars Jeff Bridges and Ryan Reynolds, who, in my opinion, isn't all that funny when he works alone or without people. Don't get me wrong, he has a sharp comedy sense to him, but he works the best when he's playing off of another person, like Jeff Bridges, who is a strong, stoic character, and just in his own regards, who always plays them. He plays these characters that are just inadvertently funny. So having these two geniuses in their own respective rights work together is amazing. And yeah, the CGI isn't all that great, but I want you to think about something. The story is actually something that may have felt like it's been done before, but not in the extent that what you think of. To briefly summarize it, a cop played by Ryan Reynolds gets shot by his partner and killed. On his way to heaven or to be judged by God, he gets pulled by this secret society of undead cops. Yeah, I know what you're thinking. This sounds like MIB in a way, but not really. Hear me out. Actually, but still, they have to take down monsters that are trying to destroy the known world, the way that we view the world, called Deadites, or something like that. Either way, they have to kill these things. And it comes out as being a really well written comedy. Honestly, one of the best scenes comes towards the end when the two cops, Jeff Bridges and Ryan Reynolds, have to save the world despite their differences. You see, Jeff Bridges plays a cop from the Wild West, while Ryan Reynolds plays a modern Boston cop. So they tend to butt heads a lot. But to me, to see these two play off of each other is really good. Contrary to how he plays off of other people in a movie that he has since claimed that it sucks harsh. The Green Lantern. Yeah, you've seen the jokes if you ever watched Deadpool. You've seen the jokes if you ever watched the trailers for the Free Guy movie. You've seen them. They do acknowledge that this movie isn't all that great, isn't it? Think about it. Without Green Lantern, Ryan Reynolds would not have had the creative freedom to go on to do Deadpool. Granted, he was already working on Deadpool. He had already come up with a kind of a test shot, if you will, stating what he was going to do. in this. And yes, I can get the criticism. The Green Lantern costumes really bad looking. The CGI is not the greatest considering how when the movie came out, Avatar was still pretty fresh and new in people's minds. And I can argue that that one is not that great either. A lot of people do remember it, but more people remember it for the films that are coming after it than what it was. But without this, directors wouldn't have a stepping stone to say, we did this movie not that great, so how about in the next one we make a more traditional sense, more traditional comic book? And yeah, for Ryan Reynolds, it led to some really good roles. For Jeff Bridges, not so much, but hey, can only squeeze in so much, I guess. And for everyone else, it is just a good time. It's a learning milestone for how to go about and how to adapt. RIPD doesn't have a great review score. I think it holds like a low score on Rotten Tomatoes, and it has garnered harsh criticism for the CGI. Like I said, I could care less because the best parts of the movie are Jeff Bridges and Ryan Reynolds working well off of each other. Seriously, I can't say much more about it, about my opinion on it. And my favorite movie of all time being Armageddon, which has garnered some a really good cult following from 1998 to today, is really good as well. Honestly, the worst movies are some of the best ones to watch. My least favorites, however, do stem from movies that people call amazing. And I can see why, but as I've said before, I have my own opinion on how things are. It might not be your opinion on it, but it's mine. No one can take that away from me. Like I said, I can tell people all the live long day Archer is good, but if somebody is not going to say, yeah, you're right, it is good, I'm not, or somebody is going to say, honestly, I don't see what you see in it, I'm not going to go flipping them off, tell them to go fuck themselves. And I hope they die in a hole. No. Sonic is another instance of opinions. A lot of people don't like him at all. That doesn't mean that you need to go up and draw Sonic killing the guy or something like that. It's not going to help anything. In fact, it might cause legal troubles on your part. And that's okay, though, if they don't like it. However, what's not okay is you just, the viewer, who just loathes, absolutely fucking hates Sonic the Hedgehog, to go, fuck him. Fuck that guy. That guy is better off dead. We're out. And speaking of sex, a lot of people have an opinion on who should play these video games. I'll circle back to Sonic here in just a second. But this needs more precedence. When it comes to who should play games, something I hear a lot is girls shouldn't exist. E-girls are thoughts. You should just quit while you're ahead, kill yourselves, you're trash. Girls can't play video games is the general consensus. But hear me out on this one. I have never once played with a girl that wasn't good at a game. I have played with guys, though, that aren't that good at video games. And that's fine. Here's the thing, You're not going to be an expert going into a video game, a new video game. For instance, Population 1. A lot of people don't know about it. Do a lot of people acknowledge its existence? Yes. Me being one such person. Whenever I play with my friends, however, a general consensus arises that some of them don't know how to play. That's okay. Here's the kicker. It takes time. It really does. When I first started playing that game, I was not an expert. Now I can climb up walls with such ease, have a gun in one hand as I'm climbing, and shoot somebody and pull myself up and down out of cover to make sure that what I'm getting is an ultimate shot on somebody, an ultimate line on somebody, or as somebody would tell you, to get good, which is something I hear a lot of gamers talk about, is getting good at a video game. And this isn't the way you normally spell it. This is GITGUD, which doesn't really make sense because how can you get good at a game when you're fucking pwning somebody? Now, for you kids out there, pwning is a term that comes from 2000, which means kick their fucking ever-loving asses all to high hell. We use it a lot. We own it. You guys saying to gamers, new gamers, to get good at a video game doesn't make a lot of sense when they're first learning about the video game. It doesn't. How can you expect somebody to be good at a video game just like that? No one is going to be a Markiplier. No one is going to be a Jacksepticeye. No one is going to be fucking Ninja. Hell, fucking Ninja, I would care to say, as after watching some videos from him, is not that good at anything that he plays. He just got time to do it. Time to get good. Not exactly uncommon for somebody new to have a hard time learning, especially when they are dropped into into the middle of a match with people who have been playing the game for months or even years or even decades, with some cases being World of Warcraft, League of Legends, Dota. It takes time. That's my opinion on it. However, other people might be discouraged to even continue playing. I have seen a lot of people play Population 1 only to just play a few matches and go, fuck this game, I'm done. Okay, I understand. You don't have to play the game. You don't have to say you like it just to appease somebody else. What you do have to abide by is how you view things. If you want to pick it up and try it again at any certain time, now you can. Or anytime you can. That's okay. No one is going to blame you. However, if you truly view this, another person should be able to acknowledge that, oh, just because Johnny so and so doesn't like this game means that I have to voice my opinion. He's the fucking moron, not me. I'm the genius who loves this game. No, calm down there with your fucking ego. No, really, calm down, and calm down. It's not fair to those that want to play. This isn't me bitching and harping. This is me generally showing care towards a community that I love. Like I said, it takes time. You're not gonna be master of the game unless you were the game developer. And guess what? Some game devs I have played with, and they're not that good at the game. Not as good as some of these other people who have found exploits around the game to make themselves even better than the actual people who literally spent maybe months, years designing their game for you to play. It happens. Not everyone is A plus master. Not everything has to be an esports competition. As I say when I play that Siege game, it's not a competition. You're not having $100,000 to $1 million on the line. It's a game. Get over it. It happens. Honestly, it's called life. So, do I agree with some of the opinions that people might have about these certain titles? I can honestly understand why people would have certain ideas and opinions about their favorite games, about their least favorite games, about their anything. I can see where they're coming from, but maybe at the same time, I'm not going to say you're the damn moron for not liking your game that you recommended somebody. This is not their fault. It is called a matter of opinion. It happens. Get over it. Seriously. Now, with that in mind, I figured I'd take the time to say that because of all that has happened in recent years, in the recent past few months, I have to state something. Everyone that feel like that has been stuck in quarantine playing these online games and everything else like that, watching these movies, coming up with their own opinions, and when somebody fat shames them for, yeah, let's call it what it is, fat shaming, for their own opinions, they need to fucking stop. Go outside, get some fresh air. And no, this isn't an invitation to go outside wearing a face mask. Honestly, that's something else that comes up. Is in the past year and a half, we've had these ladies pop up all around the world called Karens. So I feel like that is a perfect analogy for how the gaming market is, for how the fandom of Star Wars or Sonic, told you, come back around to this, how anyone like those, the MCU and the DC universe are. Stop being a Karen. You're not gonna win. Honestly. Seriously. Stop. You have a right to an opinion. You have a right to voice that opinion, but you don't have a right to bully somebody into believing your opinion. Now, back to Sonic. And for those of you who do remember, when the movie was coming out in 2020, you remember the first trailer that dropped the May before the movie. It didn't look that good. Honestly, I'm surprised that they thought that was a good idea. However, the internet took to change it. Change it or it's your ass. It's your kneecaps. And yes, they did change it to the way it is now. Yes, it is a little better, but however, I have to think, would it still be the same movie if they kept the original design? Yeah, honestly. It wouldn't have mattered if the design looked like a fucking rabid dog. The story would have still stayed the same. What you just did is create more work for somebody working, and that's exactly what happened around this movie. Bullying does work sometimes. However, it's at a premiere cost. The premiere cost for Sonic, a few more $1 million, and you just shut down a company. Great job, Internet. You did good. This company will now have to outsource its workers who, oh, did I forget to mention a pandemic's about to fucking start? So now these workers have to figure out how to make sure that the dollar that they're getting from the government or whatever makes it to the next time they get $8. So, yes, you fucked up. And at the same time, you did something. So, keep in mind that sometimes having opinions towards something or somebody that you like does have consequences. And they are not always the best consequences. Yeah, Sonic actually did well and fares about a good mid 60 rating on Rotten Tomatoes, but I dare to argue that it is at the cost of many people's jobs at the beginning of a pandemic. I would dare to argue that a lot of people that bully these companies into their own ideals isn't the best. However, companies doing the same thing isn't also fair. One such company in recent years that has garnered a massive attention is EA. Now, EA, if you don't know, came out with games for Star Wars called Battlefront and Battlefront 2. These games suck for one simple reason: money. You got to spend more money than the $60 that you might have dropped at launch or $100 that you might have dropped at launch to spend even more money for a game that you have to spend more time waiting just to get a fucking blaster for Leia or a lightsaber for Luke or Darth Vader. That isn't a fair economic value. However, when the company came out and spoke against it, they said what they thought they were doing is right. No, it's not. Even Congress soon lobbied against it, stating that it is gambling. So, when companies bully you into buying their products just because something seems like it works, it normally doesn't. Then that's opinionated beyond all beliefs. When they think their game is the next Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, that's very opinionated. I mean, I don't remember ever picking up a Switch, turning it on, and saying, "You need to buy $5. You need to spend $5 on our game to buy this epic skin for Link, so he can now fly around at maybe 1/10 of a faster speed, or it just looks fucking cool." No, microtransactions should be at the foremost, at the foreground options. And none such case is better than Fallout 76. Now, when anybody that has been around long enough to know what video games are knows that it has had a rocky launch. I never picked up the game because of its rocky launch and because of how its continued progress has been sketchy. At worst. At best, it might be because they're desperate to get their gamers into their game. But as it stands right now, in order to play a massive online multiplayer experience, you have to drop money month after month to make sure that you have it. Seem fair? No. So I'm not going to ever play it because now you made it impossible for me in a time of crisis to juggle: should I eat tomorrow or should I play Fallout 76? I mean, come on. And honestly, dating apps are the same way. Tinder, Zeus, hell, even these some of these sketchier ones like Filipino Cupid, and ones that aren't even supposed to be dating apps, and you know it, but they got many robots on there. They make good pastimes. you know, they're not that great. And that's okay. They don't have a great model, but honestly, I would dare to argue what they're doing is trying to create something that many people don't do nowadays. Get the fuck off your damn screen and socialize with somebody. Yeah, guess what? There was a time before these things ever came out. There was a time before, and there will be a time after. So, socialize with people. Honestly, if you want to get your opinion out there, talk to somebody about it. Don't bully them into saying that your game is the greatest game of all time. That your show, that your movie is the greatest show of all time. Because some people don't view it like you. That in mind, I am also going to finish here by stating that the next month that I'm going to be doing this show, I'm going to include a heavy look here and before these two videos come out. Because I do need to make up for lost time from last month. The next month, and the next two videos are going to deal with something very heavy to a lot of people who, it's 2021, who are beyond the age of 20, I'd say 24, beyond the age of 22, actually. Now, if you don't know what next month is, allow me to quickly tell a story, and I'll also tell it again in the next two. At 9:30 and at 9 o'clock in the morning on September 11th, 2001, the world stopped for a minute. I mean, not for a minute, for a while. At 9 o'clock in the morning, a flight collided, or collided. Ah, can't speak today. A flight collided with the Twin Towers and the Pentagon. That mostly what a lot of people remember are the Twin Towers. And I was myself 3 years old at the time. But I remember that day like it was yesterday. And to realize that this has now been 20 years since the events that transpired. The next two will be talking about a movie that surrounds it and a game that has nothing to do with it, but has a lot to do with the events that caused it. So, with that in mind, hope you all have a good one, and I'll see you next time.